2 days in a row of Tougie talking hockey. Another Tougie's Take. It's here. More of a quick hits edition. There's not a ton to talk about coming out of the world of hockey after last night, but there were a couple of things that I wanted to get to. First and foremost, you can see on screen right now, Justin Williams is yet again a Carolina Hurricane. He pulled a Mike Fisher, sat out for half of the year, and now he is back. Whether or not it'll go better for him than it did for Fisher when he returned to the Preds, time will ultimately tell. But I have to admit, I'm surprised it took this long for somebody to go for Justin Williams. I mean, it's a basement level contract, which isn't surprising. It's prorated with bonuses, so I mean, he'll make more money than that, of course. But I am very, very surprised. I mean, coming off of 53 points last year, 23 goals, had 7 points in the playoffs. Of course, you know, the big moment in Game 7 against Washington was huge. So he's still a serviceable player unless, you know, what would it be? Not even 6 months off of hockey unless that all of a sudden, well, I guess technically between the last year's playoffs. Unless that time away from hockey has just completely ruined him, he's still a very serviceable player. And you add him to this Hurricanes team, which, you know, could use a little bit of extra high-end scoring. If Williams can do what he did last year, they'll be in a good spot. You know, Nino Niederreiter, I think, is a great example of, like, okay, you know, if he had been a little bit better. They're missing Eric Hawley. He's only played 24 games this year, but he's been, you know, tremendous when he played. It's essentially, I mean, it's a deadline pickup for them. And, you know, if the goaltending can step up a bit, Reimer's been okay, Mrazek, not so much. But the Hurricanes right now occupy the top wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. You add Justin Williams to a team that's already doing well. Again, the emergence of Andrei Svechnikov this year. I don't want to say he was underrated last year, but I think people have already kind of forgotten just how good he is already. It's insane. And of course, someone like Dougie Hamilton just tearing it up like he has this year. I mean, Carolina, goals are definitely the playoffs, and, you know, or the goal for the season, definitely related to the playoffs, and their chances to make it just get a hell of a lot better. Moving over to the New York Rangers for a second, as Igor Shestyorkin made his NHL debut last night and won. He gave up 2 goals on 4 shots to start the game, but then settled down from there. Decent goalie situation for the Rangers. I mean, people have been talking about them potentially trading Georgiev for the entire season, and I think that's a little bit more likely now. A 9.10 and a 9.09, it's not exactly amazing. I mean, you look at save percentages this year, I mean, the 9.10 that, you know, Reimer and Lundqvist have, that puts them 24th, 25th, 26th, you know, then right next to Elvis Merzlikins, which, yeah. So, I mean, it's okay. It's solid. But if Shestyorkin can continue to do what he did last night, of course, it's a very small sample size, but people are rightfully so hyped up about him. You know, for a couple of years, it was Samsonov, who, of course, is with Washington, Shestyorkin, and Ilya Sorokin, who is of the, he's with the Islanders. I was trying to think how to phrase that. He's of the Islanders variety. I just woke up, but we have to move on with our day. It's all good. But of course, people are hyped up about him, rightfully so. Unlike Samsonov, who really struggled last year when he came over from the KHL. He wasn't great in the AHL, and that goes for a lot of goaltenders. I mean, you look at someone like a Jeff Glass, who jumped over, pretty damn good KHL goalie, not so good on North American ice. Pavel Francouz for the Avalanche, jumps over from the KHL, very good on North American ice. I mean, he is currently 4th in the league with a .929 save percentage through 18 appearances. So you never quite know what you're going to get. And for Shestyorkin so far, it has been a solid debut. I mean, the AHL numbers are solid. He gets a win in his first NHL game. Of course, the Rangers, not exactly looking like a playoff team, but a .932 in the AHL is fairly damn impressive. I mean, yeah, just a handful, a little bit over a handful of goalies with more than a .930 in that league at the moment. So congrats to him on his first career win. And for Rangers fans, I mean, what are you hoping for at this point? Because I don't think Hank goes anywhere. But in terms of trading Georgiev to get help, might not be the worst idea in the world. The other thing I wanted to mention, Tampa absolutely killed Vancouver last night. So, you know, they're just bombing up the standings right now, as are the Leafs. Thank God the Bruins beat Nashville 6-2 last night. But, yeah, the top 3 in the Atlantic, that's where we all expected it to be. The order was a toss-up. That's where we all expected it to be, the 3 teams that we expected it to be, and that's where it is now. Boy. Boy. Tampa got off to a really slow start, but yeah, now they look like the well-oiled machine that you expect them to be. Washington, there were a lot of high-scoring games last night. Washington kicks the shit out of Ottawa. Montreal loses to Detroit. Again, I can't take too many shots. The Bruins have lost to Detroit this season, but there have just been some weird scores. And the Sharks. Oh, the Sharks. And Pittsburgh, because why the hell not? Why the hell wouldn't the Penguins, with half of their team in the infirmary, not currently be in a playoff spot? And it brings me to the All-Star game. Now, I haven't talked about the All-Star game much because, I gotta be honest, I don't care at all. In terms of how much I've cared about the All-Star game, it has just been a steady decline for the past decade. I used to love the skills competition growing up. Still do. I'll probably still watch it. But in terms of who's there, I gotta be honest, I'm not a very big fan of the way the MLB does it, the way the NHL does it, where you have to have a representative from each team. Like, no disrespect, but God, who was the name that stuck out for me? It was Silfverberg from Anaheim. Like, I'm not saying Jakob Silfverberg isn't a good player, but he has 28 points in 42 games, and he's in the All-Star game. Just because an Anaheim Duck has to be there. It doesn't sit well with me. And then you get into the debate of who's been snubbed, especially because you have to have one person from each team. And then you get into the instances where certain people choose not to play, like Alex Ovechkin. Injuries, I mean, at least that got Tristan Jarry to the All-Star game, which he deserves to be there. But yeah, there are just certain aspects of it, the whole choosing not to play deal. It's not really an All-Star game when people are like, nope, I'm out. I mean, Crosby, even if he was elected, I mean, of course, he's still coming back from injury, but, Crosby never goes. Ovechkin is skipping again. Is it really an all-star game when the best of the best aren't there, either because they choose not to go or because people got snubbed because you have to have one person from each team? I never really cared. But I did want to bring up the fact that, Tristan Jarry deserves to go. He does. He's been great this season. So that's going to do it. I will see you guys whenever there's actually anything interesting to talk about. Again, talking about hockey a little bit more on this channel is going to be a thing from now on. Let me know what you think. Will the Hurricanes make the playoffs this season, first and foremost? Will Alexander Georgiev be traded? How badly do the San Jose Sharks suck? Will Tampa finish in first place? And are you excited at all for the All-Star game? Let me know. I'm intrigued. Let's have a conversation down in the comments because Lord knows I need to focus on anything other than nothingness. Thank you for watching. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Shout out to my patrons that you are seeing on screen right now. Again, that is a thing. Link to that Patreon's in the description. Check it out if it sounds like it interests you. Thank you to each and every one of you that have signed up thus far. It is greatly appreciated. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Take it easy. And goodbye.